guys. Have a seat on the floor. Come on and have a seat on the floor. I've got them if you want to go get her. Hi, Jackson. Have a seat on the floor, Jackson.
I'm gonna have to. I'll wait till she comes back.
If you need to go, go. It's okay. Guys, have a seat on the floor. Have a seat on the floor. You know what to do. If you need to go, go ahead. I've got them. Yeah.
They can go through that if they need something.
Okay. You're welcome. Ray, go sit on the floor for me, buddy. Sit on the floor. We're going to be watching some videos and talking today, okay? Good job. Be a good example. Good job, Ray. Hi, come on in. Come on in. Have a seat on the floor. Hi. Have a seat on the floor.
Okay.
I see all your stuff from the book fair. Good job. Have a seat on the floor. Come on in. Come on in. Have a seat on the floor. Quickly, quickly, quickly. We got things to do. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Why do we wear clothes?
Yeah, then how did you get to it?
Happy birthday, Jake. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on, Diamond. Come sit on the floor. Hannah had to take him. Okay. Diamond, I need you to come sit on the floor, please. Diamond, I need you to come sit on the floor, please. Thank you.
Hello.
So guys, thank you so much for participating today in our Leadership Day.
Thank you.
All of the teachers and the guests, our special guests that were here, we're so impressed with how you guys were acting. Okay, so let's go over a few things before we get started. Number one, there's been some difficulties, I think, remembering how we act in the lab. First thing is, we listen whenever a teacher or another student is talking, right? And we actively listen, so we pay attention to what they have to say. We raise our hand if we have something we want to contribute, okay? And then we're always under control. We're keeping our hands to ourselves, all right? And that way we all have the best chance of learning. So, yes.
So why do you use it?
So does anybody want to answer the question on why we do this? Yeah.
Because they want you to record what you do in the classroom.
Very good, because I'm a new teacher, so it's part of my learning. I have to record myself, so I use the technology to record myself. And then I also have Mr. Nicholas to watch, and then we talk about the things that I'm doing correctly and incorrectly so that I can become a better teacher. Right? So it's a really cool thing. So well, thank you so much. So we are going to be talking today about why do we wear clothes? So I don't know why we wear clothes. We're going to hopefully talk about it. You guys are going to give me some feedback. But we're going to set up a little scenario, right? So listen carefully so you know what the scenario is.
Hi, it's Doug. Imagine that you and your class are on a field trip together on a fishing boat out at sea. It's so much fun, nice and warm, you got your swimsuits on, you're going to go for a swim in the ocean. Suddenly, though, the boat runs into some rocks jutting out of the sea. They break a hole in the side of the boat, and the captain yells that the boat is sinking. You all have to grab life jackets and jump overboard. Splash. Now, luckily, there's a beautiful tropical island within swimming distance. So you all swim ashore. Everyone's okay. The captain of the ship says he was able to get through an emergency message sent back home before the ship sank. But help is at least a week away. That's when you start to think, oh no, now what? You're just sitting there on this island with almost nothing. How are you going to survive for the next week? You're going to need some kind of shelter. You're going to need a place to sleep. You're going to need food. You're going to need fresh water. And most importantly, you look down and remember, oh my gosh, you're only wearing a swimsuit. Oh, it sure would have been nice to have some clothes with you. Or do you really need them? I mean, you know you're going to need food and shelter and water, but do you really need clothes? What's the point? You're somewhere nice and warm. It could be worse. At least you've got your swimsuit. That's when you get to thinking, are there any reasons you're going to wish you had the clothes with you on this island? And why do we wear clothes anyway? I mean, is it just to keep warm? Or just to avoid being embarrassed? Why do people wear clothes? Have you ever thought about that? Stop and discuss what you think.
Okay, so we're going to take a minute or so to talk about why do we wear clothes with the people around you first. Okay, so start talking to them. Why do we wear clothes? So guys, why do we wear clothes? Why do you wear clothes? Why do you wear clothes? Why do you come to school with clothes on? Huh? You know why? You want me to tie this for you? I'll tie this for you. Why do you wear clothes? Ray, why do you wear clothes? Does it help protect you from something? What does it help protect you from? Huh? Yes, it can help you from bees and other insects. Yes. What about that thing in the sky that makes it hot? What is that called? The sun, right? So if you didn't wear clothes, what would happen? You'd get a sunburn all the time, right? What else? Do you want to come to school without any clothes on? And just in your underwear? Probably not, right? So it helps us from not getting embarrassed, too. Good job. Why do you wear socks? You know why you wear socks? Yeah, that's your sock, Ray. Why do you wear socks? You know why you wear socks? Because if you didn't wear socks, your feet would get all sweaty and stinky. Woo! You don't want you don't want Ray's shoes to get stinky, do you? I don't either. All right, let's hear some of your reasons why we wear clothes.
To keep us warm.
Okay, so for warmth. Good. What else?
To keep them from being frozen in an ice block being naked.
Okay, so there's a lot from that comment. Let's just go with that from being warm too, okay? What else?
To keep us protected.
Protected from what?
From people taking pictures of you.
Okay, so from our body, right? So from our privacy.
Yeah.
So privacy. What else though? What else are clothes protecting you from?
If you only had a bathing suit on, you would get dirty, and all the dirtiness on you maybe can cause like a bad rash.
Okay. So we'll say keep us protected from dirt. Okay. What else can it protect us from?
Sun.
The sun. What else?
It could protect us from embarrassment.
So privacy. So embarrassment.
It could.
Right? Because we want our private parts to be protected, right? Nobody else needs to see those. What else?
To not show off our parts.
Okay, so that's what we just said. Embarrassment. Good. Oh, I can't hear Jake if we're not actively listening to Jake.
So that other people can't see or exactly like super duper stuff that you're not allowed to see.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, right? Our private parts. What else?
To like if it's really you might get cold.
Shh. Let her finish.
You might get hurt because if like an animal might attack you.
Okay, so from getting hurt, maybe an animal attacking you, but what about if you fell down?
Yeah.
And you didn't have clothes on, maybe if you fell on the playground,
That'd be horrible.
I would rather get a little scratch on my pants, right, than to have a really bad injury on my leg. Okay? So I was talking up here with these guys, and Ray said we wear socks to keep our feet from getting stinky, right? Because imagine all your sweat would go into your shoes. Jackson, look at Mr. Cross. Thank you, Jackson. Good job, hon. Okay, so we have all these reasons that we wear clothes. Would you guys want to come to school not wearing clothes?
No!
Now, I'm looking at all of you, though, and you're not wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
So what's another reason that you wear clothes?
Ooh.
What do you think?
So your parents know where you are.
Okay, because your parents dress you a certain way. Okay, because parents dress you. But what else? When you go to the store, do you just walk in and go, okay, I'll just take that shirt? Or I'll just take those pants?
No.
You have a certain what? What do you have?
A certain kind of body type. So you're not the same body type as everyone else.
Okay.
You might be
Okay.
She doesn't have the same.
Okay. I got your point. Stop. Good job. Now, we have a certain body type, so that means we buy clothes that are... So what's that called? I think I know what you mean. It's fashion. Very good. So if I go to the store, I might see a cool like Spider-Man shirt and be like, oh, I totally want that Spider-Man shirt, right? But then maybe somebody else goes, well, I don't really like Spider-Man. That's their fashion, so they're going to dress accordingly. Okay, so yeah, I have a whole bunch of Spider-Man shirts. Okay, let's keep going on. You guys are doing really good.
So why do we wear clothes? You probably were able to think of a few different reasons. Many of those reasons have to do with the weather. Depending on if it's cold, or rainy, or hot, or if there's bugs or mosquitoes around, notice that your clothes need to be made out of different stuff. They need to be made out of different materials. Not all materials are good for the same thing. That's because each material has certain traits or properties that makes it useful. For example, in the rain, you wear a raincoat, right? Well, a raincoat is made out of a plastic material, which has the property of being waterproof, meaning that water can't get through it. That's why it's such a good material to wear in the rain. But in really cold weather, you might wear a thick coat like this, which is lined with a material called wool. Wool has the property of being heat trapping. It keeps in the heat. Now, let me show you something surprising. This guy lives in the hot desert, and yet he's wearing a long robe. Why on earth would someone wear this in the hot desert? Well, it has to do with the properties of this material that he's wearing. This robe is made out of the material called cotton. It comes from a plant, and it looks just like this. Cotton is actually the most popular material for all clothing, whether you live in the desert or not. Let's explore some of its properties. Here's one reason this guy is wearing it. Cotton blocks sunlight. See that? We call this the property of being opaque, which means it doesn't let light through. And that's what keeps this guy from getting sunburned. So that's partly why someone would wear a cotton robe in the desert. Now think about what else happens when you're in the sun. You sweat, right? Especially if you're walking around or working. Sweat can feel really sticky and uncomfortable. To be comfortable, you'd like clothes that will soak up that sweat. Well, cotton is really good at just that. It can soak up that sweat. We say that cotton has the property of being absorbent, meaning it soaks up wetness. Soft is another property we want our clothing to have, since we have to wear it all day. Cotton definitely has the property of being soft, nice and soft. In fact, because cotton is so soft, that's probably why the clothing you're wearing right now is even made out of cotton. So cotton has properties that make it very comfortable. But now just for fun, think of a situation where feeling comfortable isn't what you want. For example, a situation where you might wear a suit of armor. Definitely not comfortable to wear, right? It's made out of steel, a type of metal. Steel is the same material that your kitchen pots and pans are made of. What properties does steel have? In what situation would you want to wear something like this?
Okay, so let's first talk about properties that you're wearing. Most of the clothes that we wear have cotton. And on your t-shirts and your pants, there's almost always a tag of some sort. So if I look at this tag, it says this shirt is 90% cotton, 10% polyester. Okay, that gives it a little bit of a stretchy feel to it. I'll pass this around so you guys can look at the tag and see. Okay, go. Okay, she's going next, and then you're going next. Yes, go. Guys, you have to remember with the bathrooms, we're not here very long, so you have to go at lunchtime, okay? As soon as they get back, you can go. So, let's look at properties that they talked about in the video. Waterproof. Everybody say waterproof.
Waterproof.
Let's try it again. Everybody say waterproof.
Waterproof.
Thank you. Everybody say heat trapping.
Heat trapping.
Opaque.
Opaque.
So this is one that you're going to learn about. Opaque means that you can't see through it. Okay, the opposite of opaque is translucent or transparent, which means you can see through it. Absorbent.
Absorbent.
Everybody say absorbent.
Absorbent.
So absorbent means it soaks things up. Soft.
Soft.
Now, what about this suit of armor? Light or heavy?
Heavy.
Eden? Hard or soft?
Hard.
Stretchy or stiff?
Stiff.
Stiff. Would you want to be stranded on our island wearing that?
No. Yeah. In a war.
Okay, but we're not in a war. We're on our island. So answer the question. Would you want to be stranded wearing that on our island? No. But when did they wear this? Anybody remember what the times was called?
I know.
Me? Like back then?
Okay, back then, what was the time called?
It was during the king. I forgot what time.
Okay.
1865.
Before that,
Medieval times.
the medieval times. Everybody say medieval times.
Medieval times.
So during the medieval times, and why do you think they wore a suit of armor? Yes.
To protect themselves.
Protect themselves from what?
I know. Because they're at like 1 second ahead, there's a war.
Okay, so, but there's a war. That doesn't mean I'm going to put on a suit of armor and go out, right?
They protect
I
themselves.
know, because they're going to die and the sword's going to hit them and the sword sometimes affects.
I know.
Okay, so that, Connor, you're on the right point. Because when they were protecting the castle, right, the other knights were trying to come in and they had swords made out of steel. And would you rather have some sort of protection on or just say, okay, go ahead, hit me? You'd probably want protection, right? So what other things do you think they would protect themselves from? Does anybody know what the really long thing was called that they rode on a horse?
Sturdy. It's called. I forgot what it was called.
I know.
But I've seen it.
I want one for my birthday. Bow and arrow.
Not a, okay, that would help them protect from bow and arrows, but that's not what I asked. No, wait till she comes back. Yes. Okay, not a catapult. Catapults were the big things, remember, that we built that would shoot off?
Oh, I think I remember.
Excuse me. Can everybody stop and look at me, please? I'm not sure what's going on. You need to sit still, stop moving around. Thank you.
Something to protect them, like what they use weapons for.
Okay, but the long thing that they used was called a lance. And they would try to knock each other off of a horse. So this was meant to protect them because they weren't trying to kill each other when they were jousting, was what it was called. They were trying to knock each other off a horse. So the armor would help with that. Okay? Now, there are different types of materials though, right? We're wearing cotton. This is made out of steel. Does anyone know what this material is made of?
Yes.
Anybody know what this is called?
Yes. Rubber.
Okay, not rubber. It kind of looks rubber. Why? Because it's
Stretchy.
stretchy, right? Because we can stretch it a little bit. But anybody know what this is called? Not quite. What is it called? It's got a special name. It starts with an S.
I know.
Okay, is this a form of elastic?
Sturdy.
Not sturdy. It is soft. It's a spandex. Somebody say spandex.
I knew it was spandex.
So spandex is a material that they use, and the reason that they have this material is because its properties are what? Light or heavy?
Light.
Hard or soft?
Soft.
Stretchy or stiff?
Stretchy.
Stretchy, good. So why do you think somebody would want to wear this material with these properties? Yeah, Jake?
Because if they're doing gymnastics, they don't really get hurt.
Shh, let Jake finish.
Because they don't really get that sweaty with them. They don't sweat.
Okay, so spandex helps them not get really sweaty. What else?
It helps you can stretch better and not fall right when you're doing something.
Okay, so it's very stretchy. Not like if you're wearing like jeans, right? You wouldn't want to do gymnastics in a pair of jeans, probably. What else?
It's easier to do things like it's more stretchy, so it's easier to do like a back tuck or
Okay,
a back flip.
good. What else?
It's more easier to go on the bars because if you wear stretchiness, then it would be easier. But when you're doing it harder, it would be like hard and
Right.
it would feel good.
So this is stretchy material. Now, can you stretch cotton? The cotton you're wearing? You can't pull it and stretch it?
Oh, yeah, you can.
But what usually happens when you do?
It would get stretched out like
It gets stretched out or it rips. So spandex is made out of different material that allows it to come back, right? So that's why they wear it. Also, Mr. Nicholas, you can ask him because he has clothes when he rides his bicycle because he goes for bicycle rides really far. So he wears these because they're lighter and they're cooler for when he's riding his bike. Good. Let's keep going on. Now we've learned about 2 different types of materials. Now let's go back to our island that we're stuck on. And let's see how we're
you're
doing.
stuck on this desert island without any clothes except for your swimsuit. And you're going to have to figure out where you're going to sleep tonight and what you'll eat for food this week and where to get drinking water. But right now, what's most on your mind is the sun. The sun is beating down on you. It's so hot. As you stand there on the beach, the only thing you can think about is how much you want a hat. So what you're going to need to make as your first piece of clothing is a hat to shade your head. Now, up till now, you might have just thought of a hat as something fun to wear. But hats can be extremely useful. Like consider this kind of hat you might have at home if you skateboard or ride a bike. It's a helmet. A helmet is a hat made of a special, thick kind of plastic. This material has properties that are like steel. It's got the property of being hard and strong. But unlike steel, this plastic material also has the property of being light, which makes it much more comfortable. Since a helmet isn't going to do you any good on a desert island, though, let's consider some hats that might be useful to you. Like, what about a cowboy hat? You've probably all seen a cowboy hat before, but unless you live on a ranch or out in the desert, you might not have thought about just how useful cowboy hats are. Notice how most of this cowboy's face is covered in a shadow? A cowboy hat is great for shading your face when you're in the hot sun. That shadow is made by the hat's large brim. That's this part of the hat. To stick out like this, the brim has to have the property of being stiff. Without that property, the hat's brim would flop down into the cowboy's eyes. And cowboy hats aren't the only good hats to protect you from the sun. Like, check out this one. This hat's called a bonnet, and it was worn by pioneer women. It has a stiff brim, too, to keep off the sun, just like the cowboy hat. But unlike the cowboy hat, it also has the property of being nice and soft, so it was very comfortable to wear. Okay, here's one last example. This is a traditional hat to wear in the desert. This hat is very soft, too. But this one doesn't have a stiff brim. It's just loose cloth tied around the head. It may not block the sun from his face very well, but it definitely blocks the sun on his neck. Along with being soft, this hat has the property of being absorbent, so it's great at soaking up sweat.
Okay.
So those are some different hats made of materials with different properties. But now it's your turn. You're going to design a hat for yourself to wear on your desert island. What kind of hat will you need? What properties do you think your hat needs to have?
Okay, so because our rotation today was short, okay, we don't have enough time to get to this. We're going to do this next week. Okay, so we're going to come in and do a quick recap, and then we're going to talk about this next week. But some things that we need to keep in mind. Number 1, are there any stores on the island?
No.
No. It's a deserted island, which the only people that are there are the people that were on the boat. Okay. Number 2, do you have any material you want to use?
Maybe. No.
No.
What?
You are only going to have the materials that washed up on shore, and I found those materials, so I'm going to provide them to you. So you will only have the materials. You will only have the materials that I provide to you, like something like a paper plate, or a paper bag, or some tin foil, or aluminum foil, some string, and we're going to have to make sure that we make a hat that's going to fit us being on the island for how long?
A week.
At least a week. So we might be there for how many days is a week?
7.
7, or we might be there for 10 or 12. Hopefully not any longer than that, because that'll be a long time. So next week when we come in, we'll come in quickly, re-talk about it. We'll give you a time to talk at your groups about designing your hat. You're going to do a little worksheet, and then you're actually going to build your hat, and everybody will build a hat. All right? Yes?
So one time, it was not like a desert island, but we just went to an island, and so we had like a little thing that we could sleep in, but our mom couldn't sleep outside, and so I made actually a fort. You just need some like big.
Okay, well that's a great story, and I want to hear that story another day, but today we don't have time for that, and we're not building a fort, right? We're going to be building a hat. But that's good that you have that experience, okay? So that you can bring that to your group and you can talk to them about how you made something like that, okay? Awesome. Now, it is time to rotate. That's how quick today was because we had our leadership day. So let us line up at the door, please. Good job. Line up. Good job. Line up. Good job. Line up. Good job. Line up. Good job, guys. Line up. Good job. Line up. Line up. Good job, Jackson. Bye, Jackson. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job, Connor. Good job. Got a lot of cool stuff there, huh? Awesome. Come on, guys. You should not be at the camera. You should be over here. Good job. Give me Knuckles. 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 Levi, Knuckles. Thanks, buddy. Good job. Good job earlier today, too.
I usually do it with this hand, but
I don't appreciate that. Thank you. And good job. Thank you. All right. Enjoy, Mr. Nicholas.